Hi mamas, my name is Jana Roemer, and I'm here to lead you through a 30-minute prenatal yoga practice. I am 19 weeks pregnant myself and loving the exploration of getting to know my body in new ways. This practice today is intended for mamas that are beyond their first trimester, once you start to gain your energy back and not quite so nauseous anymore, hopefully. You may want to have a couple blocks nearby, some water, and I'm sitting on a blanket right now, which is great to elevate, but you can use your blocks to do that as well. It's really important to keep in mind a few things practicing yoga pregnant. First of all, it's never been so important that you listen to your body and do only what your body is willing to do. Watch your temperature. If your temperature is starting to rise too much, take a break from the practice, catch your breath, and come back to it. And along with that is exactly what I just said, your breath. As long as your breath is flowing through the poses, you're good to keep going. But the second your breath starts to choke, take a break. All right? Today we're going to bring some fluidity into the hips and some space into the torso, and maybe even a slight back bend. So sit up tall, close your eyes. Allow yourself to ground into the earth, your pelvis be heavy, the tops of your thighs be heavy. And by connecting into the Mama Earth, grow tall through your spine. As I'm sure you notice, your center of gravity is a little bit lower and slightly more forward, so lean back into your spine in order to counterbalance that. And keep a slight flex into your feet. And then soften the expression on your face as you begin to take in longer, more attentive breaths all the way to your pelvic floor. As you breathe, you may choose to start to tone your pelvic floor, and I highly recommend deepening your relationship with your pelvic floor now. So as you inhale, soften your pelvic floor and relax it. And as you exhale, draw your tailbone and your pubic bone towards each other and tone your pelvic floor up into your body. And then again, on your inhale, soften and relax. You may do this a few times as you let all the noise of the day start to seem like a distant past. And you become more and more present to this moment. You can keep your eyes closed if you want, or you may choose to open them, but place your right hand on the ground beside your hips. You can come onto your fingertips as to keep lots of height through the sides of your body, and then inhale your left arm up and over, stretching through the whole left side of your body. As you do this, continue to ground down through your left hip and stay long through the sides of your body. And then inhale, come back up through center as you place your left hand on the ground, reach your right arm up and over, and ground your right hip. Feel that whole stretch through the side of your body. And for my mamas that are feeling their kid, notice if by creating this space, they start to rearrange. And then come back to the first side again. This time you may choose to come a little deeper. If you have the movement available to you, you can walk your right hand out further. And then really stretch. Even though the left side is where the major stretch is coming, you may get a bit stretched through the left side as well. Right side, pardon me. Inhale, back up through center and over to the second side again. Extend your left arm out onto the earth as your right arm lifts up and over and ground through your right sit bone. And then inhale, back up. You can walk yourself forward onto all fours. Move whatever you are sitting on out of the way. If at any time during the practice you need a rest, please know that child's pose is always here for you. As a prenatal mama, you want to make sure that there's never compression into your belly. So child's pose now is big toes together, knees wide, and then let yourself sit down between here. I like to keep my elbows on the ground as to keep that space there, but you can also rest your forehead to the earth. Breathe into your kidney space and into the back of your body. Let yourself be flooded with oxygen. We all know as moms it's important to be eating well, but part of nourishing our body is movement and breath as well. So drink in oxygen. All right, inhale yourself up onto all fours. Walk your knees in and tuck your toes underneath. And as you tuck your toes underneath, sit back onto your heels. This might be a lot for some people, depending on the state of your feet. So some options are to have your blocks by your side, so you can use the weight through your blocks to relieve your feet. Or if it's simply too much, you can untuck your toes and sit back this way. Although it's a good idea to open the bottoms of your feet because it opens up your whole back body through the fascial system. And then once you're here, we'll move through a seated cat and cow. So as you exhale, curl your tailbone towards your knees as you tuck your chin in towards your chest. And then on your inhale, slide your hands up your thighs, roll your shoulders back, send your sit bones back, open through the whole front body. And then again, exhale and curl in. And then inhale. And then exhale. Perfect. You can set the blocks off to the side. I like to keep them on either side so they're readily accessible through the practice. Place your palms onto the ground and step back into downward facing dog. When you get to downward dog, walk your feet nice and wide and shift your weight from side to side. Let your hips be extra fluid. Your baby is in a fluid sac right now, and so the water element is its most familiar element. It's also earth, is because it's the first time this little baby spirit is coming into form. And so between these two elements, if you as mama can tap into this, it will help you tap into a deeper relationship with your child. On your inhalation, look up towards your hands, walk your feet to meet your hands, but keep your feet nice and wide, hip distance or wider, so that your belly and your thighs aren't pressing into each other. If your blocks are within hand's reach, place them underneath your hands. And again, with a bend in your knees, lift your sit bones, lift your heart. And then again, exhale and fold into this. On your inhale, place your palms to the front of your shins or your blocks, whatever feels more comfortable for you. Slide your inner thighs back, lengthen your armpits forward, and lift your baby up and towards your back body as you fill your heart and extend your head forward. Then with a little bend in your knees, come to stand. All right, you can shake it out from side to side. Step your right foot way back so you come into a wide stance. Look down at your feet and ensure that your feet are parallel with each other. You can lift up all 10 toes to engage your arches. Feel how that lifts strength up through your legs. And then keep that strength, but let your toes float back to the earth. On your inhalation, hands onto your hips, roll your shoulders up and back, lift your heart. And then as you exhale, bend your knees slightly, move your thighs back, lift your sit bones, fold forward. This is one of the best ways to get into a forward fold with a baby in your belly. And you can come as deep as your body's willing to go. So for some of you, that might mean staying on your hands. Others of you, that might be coming to your forearms. And others of you, you can relax your head right down to the earth. Again, notice where you are and play your own edge. There's never been a more important time to listen to your body. Now, whatever depth you're at, so hands on the ground, forearms on the ground is perfect. Start to shift your weight from side to side. And as you come deeper into your left knee, turn your right toes to point up. Feel how that gets nice long stretch through the back of your body. And then come back to center and then bend your right knee deeply. Turn your left toes to point up. When you're here, as your toes point up, root your heel down and draw all the way up into your pelvis. Good, we'll add another dimension. Come up through center, bend your left knee, turn your right toes to point up. And now this time, use your shoulder and your knee, or your tricep and your knee to press into each other. And we go prenatal twisting, which really is quite a gentle twist. Elbow and knee, or shoulder and knee into each other, and then roll open to face this toe. If you want, you can extend your right arm up to the sky. Good, and then as you exhale, walk your hands through center, rise up, switch sides. As your left toes point towards the sky, use your right arm, side body, shoulder or elbow into your knee, and roll open. Watch this leg that there's no hyperextending. Hyperextending? Not hyperextending. Hyperextending? No, not hyperextending. Draw that strength up into your body, and as you root your heel down, lift and lengthen. Go ahead, and then as you exhale, come back through center. You can heel toe your feet in so you're at about 3/4 of where you were to start. And point your toes out to face 45 degrees. Place your hands onto your knees and stack your heart over your pelvis. I've been watching different videos about giving birth, and one of the positions is to have support under your armpits so that your body can hang. And I think standing like this is a really good preparation for opening the pelvis, but building endurance and strength. And so from your feet, draw into your pelvis. It's not shocking that this pose is called goddess pose. And then drop your thigh bones. You can use your hands at the tops of your thighs. Root your thighs down and lift up tall through your torso. Again, we're just looking to create that beautiful space all the way through your torso. Stay here and breathe. If you want a little extra challenge, bring your arms up. Feel that nice burn into your quads. Don't worry, we'll give you a stretch there. Take a full breath in. Straighten your legs. Exhale and fold. Beautiful. Walk both hands up to your left foot at the top of your mat. Keep your right foot, walk it parallel to the short side of your mat, and line your front heel up with your back arch. Options again, you can place your left elbow on your left knee, or you can place your hand onto the ground. Of course, in between would be to use a block. I'm going to use a block. Your knee and your arm can press into each other. And then use your top hand, your right hand, at the top of your back hip, and gently coax the top of this thigh back to get wider in your pelvis. Then your left bum cheek, wrap it underneath as you extend from the inner left thigh to your outer knee. This will give a beautiful inner line stretch. And then the top arm either up or straight over. You can extend from your kidneys all the way down into the earth, from your kidneys up into your heart, and then again, side body long, all the way down, all the way up. Beautiful. Exhale, back to neutral. Take the block with you. Turn your right toes to point towards the other end of your mat as your right foot is parallel. Line your front heel up with your back arch. Bring your front knee to 90. Again, whatever option you did on the first side, if your elbow was on your knee, do that. If your foot was on the ground, do that. I'm going to stick with the block. Press your knee into your elbow into your knee. This time your left hand draws the top of your thigh bone back so you can open up through your pelvis. Root back into the earth as you keep your legs toned. And then extend from your inner right groin to the outer right knee and root into the earth. Top arm either up or over. Again, going with what's the right for you. And then extend, both legs migrating away from each other, long through your side body. 2 more breaths, waistline back. All right, walk your hands back through neutral. Whew. Parallel your feet, root your palms down, lengthen your spine, and then exhale and fold. Blocks can be placed anywhere for support. All right, walk your hands forward to the top of your mat and step back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, or downward facing dog. Again, bring that fluid action into the body so the hips start to free up the thigh bones from the pelvis. Okay, now on your inhale, lift your right leg up, left. Stack your hips on top of each other and then move the outer right hip back as you push out through the left foot. Keep the right shoulder lifted. Good, now on your exhale, step your left foot to the outside of your left hand and place your back knee on the ground. Every body is different, so check in. Does it feel better if your back toes are tucked or untucked? And then please do what's right for you. Here, you can slide your hips from side to side. Again, looking for that fluid, watery action in the body. You might even feel the way that your baby's shifting within you. If you want to take this deeper, you can use the blocks yet again. Maybe it's on this height under your forearms. Maybe it's flat. But most importantly, make sure that this leg is wide so it's not squishing your babe. I kind of like having somebody to take care of and be so mindful. I don't know about you, but my practice has become a lot more mindful with a little one to consider through it all. You can move the blocks out of the way. Step yourself back into downward facing dog. Again, bend one knee and the other, almost like you're imagining how a cat would knead the ground with your legs. And then extend the right leg back. Stack your hips, bend your knee, and then press. Move the outer right hip back as you lift the left shoulder, and then tone the whole standing leg, the whole left leg, press it back. Good, on your exhale, step that leg all the way through and wide. Back knee onto the earth. You can use the blocks again. However you set it up the first time, do that again. I love thinking about all the different ways that we nourish ourselves. And getting blood flowing and oxygen into the body is one of the most powerful methods of healing that we have. And so how better to nourish our baby than to get our own blood flowing and our own breath moving in a really healthy way. We can eat really well, but if that's done on its own, it's only part of the story. We can keep ourselves hydrated, yet movement. Think of how much your body is going to have to move in order to get this child out. It's important you keep this stuff up. All right, you can wave your hips from side to side as you feel into this. And then step back into downward facing dog. All right. Inhale your left leg straight back behind you. And as you exhale, bring your knee through and come into pigeon pose, or Ekapada Raja Kapotasana. You may choose to do this upright. Strengthen your back leg, hug your shin towards the midline, and then roll the outer hip down. If you want to come all the way up right here, it's really nice because it gives you a hip flexor stretch through here. You can do that. If you're tuckered out and ready to relax, a great way to use the blocks is to place one block right at the base of your ribs. You might have to adjust it. And then that lets your belly just hang and give your babe some room. And then another block could potentially be used under your forehead. And then all your focus is breathing and sending love to yourself and appreciating the miracle of this human body in the female form. as you're ready to come out, move slowly. Set your hands down. Look at where you're headed, and then step back. Pedal one leg out and the other, and then even twist your knee from side to side and feel into the outer hip flexor. And then inhale your right leg straight back. And as you exhale, bring your right knee through and come into pigeon on the second side. Use the back leg as power. And then if you came upright on the first one, come upright on this one. Use the blocks to support you in whatever way you need to take care of yourself. Feel it in your hip flexor or walk it forward. Before I was pregnant, actually earlier in my practice, using blocks seemed like, it was like admitting I wasn't good enough. And now blocks are my best friend. And I think the more that we surrender to support, especially, little things like using blocks in the practice, or being able to ask your support team, your family, your friends for help when you need it, or letting your coworkers know when you need a rest. It's such an important thing to do. I don't think there's ever a time in your life where self-love and self-care is at such a premium, because everything that you do for you, you pass on to your baby. Every way that you learn to love yourself in new ways, you automatically are passing that on to your little one. What a beautiful legacy and gift to give. All right, come on up. Lean into your right hip, wrap your left leg around. This pose can either be done seated or laying down, depending where you are in your pregnancy. I'm going to do it seated because I think more mamas will be here. Bring your right knee so it's basically pointing straight ahead to your belly button. And then your left leg can come on top here. So when you do this, ideally we want to get more the knees stacking on top of each other. And what we're targeting is the piriformis muscle, so it's the outer bum cheek muscle. For the mamas in the room that need a bit more challenge, you can walk your shins more parallel. And then root the pinky edge of your toes down into the ground. And then with your hands behind you, press into the ground, anchor your tailbone, and lift tall through your whole body. You can roll your shoulders up and back, and your throat back. Some of you, depending on where your belly growth is, you can walk forward as long as you stay out of compression into the low belly, and that will just shift where you feel it exactly in the outer hip. On your inhale, come back up. Switch sides. Definitely notice one side feels different than the other, more commonly so anyway. And on one side you might want your feet quite close into your body, and on the other side it might feel okay to walk them out. And really, I say just honor where you are on each side, because one side will start to entrain the other side, and it's good to honor and listen. Root the pinky toe edge of your feet down, hands behind you, root down into the earth. Let your thigh bones anchor and grow tall. This is also great because a lot of times as the structure of the pelvis changes, there may be some stress along the sacrum. So the sacrum is an upside down triangular shaped bone at the base of your pelvis. And the joint on either side is called the SI joint. And when you wrap this through the piriformis, it actually will free up a bit of tension in your SI joint, which can be very helpful during pregnancy. Again, if you have this space, you can walk your hands forward. I've been noticing in myself to play with really subtle actions. So the tilt of your pelvis, if you root your tailbone down a little bit and then tuck your chin, and so the back is being elongated this way, that does something different. instead of needing this deep fold to really feel. All right, inhale and come on up. Undo your legs, give them a little shake down. All right, one more side body stretch. Have your left leg go straight ahead and bring your right leg in, Jana Shirshasana. In Jana Shirshasana, use your hands inner thigh down, the flesh of your bum wide, and do this on both sides. Root your left heel down towards the ground and tone this whole leg. So if you can jiggle your kneecap back and forth, the leg isn't quite strong enough yet. So tone the muscles in towards the bone so the kneecap doesn't move back and forth. And the reason why we do this is because as we're pregnant, well, everybody should do it, but especially as we're pregnant, the Restylane, which is in the body, which helps the ligaments and the tendons become more elastic. If we can support them by using some strength into the body, we'll keep the stretch in the belly of the muscle and out of the edges and out of the tendons and ligaments. So use that bit of muscular engagement into your pelvis. Then with your left hand, turn your palm to face up and extend it forward on your inhale. You can use your elbow on the inside of your leg. It can be wrist to shin. It can be elbow to knee or thigh, wherever, again, is right for you. And then ground your right sit bone. Lift your right arm up and over and feel this whole, stretch, this whole side of your body. Some of you guys will find that you can get a bit more space in the left side of your body if you wiggle your left elbow forward, your left armpit forward. And then move your whole waistline back, lean into your spine, and it even turns into a little baby back bend if you look up to the sky. Sometimes it's nice, place your hand at the back of your head, draw your arm bone into your body, and then curl back here. All right, inhale back to center. Same thing, second side. So depending where you are on your mat. Right leg straight out, left leg in. You can use your hands, roll your inner thighs down, flesh of your bum wide. And then even just pausing for a moment and wait to let your pelvis anchor to the earth. And just let your nervous system relax. Turn your right palm to face up. Inhale as you stretch, toned legs. And then as you exhale, your arm can come to the inside of your leg. Use your arm and your leg into each other and then stretch your left arm up and over. Icing on the cake, ground your left sit bone. If you used your hand at the back of your head to open it into a back bend on the first side, go ahead on the second side. And then inhale and rise back up. You did it. One last move and then Savasana. Soles of your feet together. Knees wide. Press your feet together. Extend long through your knees. You can curl in, or if you're still able to lay on your back, you can lay on your back. I think it's time to rest. Come onto your left-hand side. Place the block between your knees. Use your arms underneath your head to support. It's important that you go left side, for the major feeding tube between the placenta and your baby runs on the right side, and we don't want to squish it. There's nothing left to do but let the movement, the breath, steep through your body and fully relax. If you have more time, feel free to stay in Savasana and rest. Otherwise, use your hands and keep your eyes closed as you lift yourself back up to your seat. You may choose to sit on a block, or if your blanket's close by, grab your blanket. Allow your pelvis to ground you into the earth as you grow tall. Place one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. The job or the dharma of being a mother is one of the most selfless tasks you ever take on in this life. Everything you do, there'll be another little being in your heart to consider and to love. The most important thing that you can do for that tiny little creature that you're welcoming is take care of you. Love yourself up. Treat yourself well. Surround yourself by the most amazing, supportive, and wonderful humans. And be so kind to yourself. Thank you so much for taking this time to nourish your body, your mind, and your spirit. Namaste.